Wow.
Come on, let's go.
I was about to play it.
You don't even have to take us down. I just realized that.
I was about to play it.
All you have to do is just hit.
I was giving you the countdown.
You don't have to take us down because we're not live. Just hit it.
And at 2, you're going to bring me back?
Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody watching or listening. This is going to be our rapid fire episode of LBHT Show.
Or so be thinks.
That's
listen,
exactly where I was going to go.
Listen, when you see this, it will be Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. But if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are not streaming live. I need to repeat that. We are not streaming live.
You know they're not listening.
No, they'll be listening when I say this.
No, I'm saying they're not listening to that part of what you're saying.
Right.
We've done this before.
Yeah, I think we said it in the show that we weren't streaming live.
Yeah, in the chat.
Yes, this is pre-recorded. Okay, we're gonna release this as a premiere, so the chat will be open. Okay, so you're able to discuss amongst each other. All right, but we will not be bringing up chat.
I'm not here right now.
Yeah,
I'm watching Loki or something right now.
But we'll give a couple of shout outs to our regulars. Okay, shout out to Danity, shout out to Yolanda B, shout out to our guy Hendo. Shout out to Just Aloe. Shout out to Living Legend. Okay. Shout out to Coach Evans. Shout out. I mean, this is lots of shout outs to give. Who am I?
Osel, Ferris, D Weezy.
There you go.
Jay the Six.
Raven Ron. Yes. Our guy, Davon, cousin Davon. All right. Salute to everybody. Living big with Big Reg. Like everybody. Okay. We're gonna miss a lot of people. I know that. But shout out to you guys. All right. Look. We have a lot to discuss, and according to B, little time. All right. So we're gonna get right into it. Okay. This is gonna be a fun show. We hope you enjoy it. And we're going to start it off like we do every week with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
B has a repeat Black History fact for you. Like I said, as we put these on video, I'm going to be redoing some of the ones that we've done. So this is one we've talked about previously, about one of the most famous and influential heavyweights of all time.
Welcome to this week's LBHT Black History Fact. Jack Johnson was born in Galveston, Texas in 1878 and is one of the most influential boxers in history. It was a long road to winning the title, as the reigning heavyweight champ Jim Jeffries refused to fight him and instead retired from the sport. Then Johnson had to chase the new champ, Tommy Burns, around the world, making a spectacle for over 2 years before they came to terms on a title fight. On December 26, 1908, he became the first black heavyweight champion of the world by beating Tommy Burns in Sydney, Australia. There were over 20,000 fans in attendance when the police stopped the fight after the 14th round, and Johnson was named the winner. A black man winning the world championship was not well received, and calls for a great white hope were abundant. The New York Times wrote, "If the black man wins, thousands and thousands of his ignorant brothers will misinterpret his victory as justifying claims to much more than mere physical equality with their white neighbors." The racial animus led former undefeated heavyweight champion Jim Jeffries to come out of retirement in what was billed as the fight of the century. Jeffries said, "I am going into this fight for the sole purpose of proving that a white man is better than a Negro." The fight took place in Reno, Nevada, and tensions were so high that guns were prohibited in the arena, as was the sale of alcohol and people under the influence of alcohol. 20,000 people watched as Johnson dominated Jeffries for 15 rounds, until Jeffries' corner threw in the towel to prevent further damage to the previously undefeated champion. Johnson's win sparked race riots across the country, resulting in at least 20 deaths and hundreds of injuries. Johnson remained champion for another 5 years, losing his title to Jess Willard in 1915. He never fought for the heavyweight championship again after that. Jeffries, after suffering his first loss, had this to say, "I could never have whipped Johnson at my best. I couldn't have hit him. No, I couldn't have reached him in 1,000 years.
All right. Listen, look, listen, boxing is a very racially charged sport, even to this day. But the fact that that fight started a riot.
Not a riot. Riots in 25 states and 50 cities across the country.
And you know, listen,
because old Jim couldn't get it done.
Listen, and that's because of the mainstream media at that time, right? Hyping up a fighter that wasn't on that level, right?
Well, he'd been retired for 6 years.
Yes,
he had to lose like 100 pounds to get back into fighting shape. He was an alfalfa farmer at that point. But the white people in this country and around the world were so desperate for someone to beat Jack Johnson. He wasn't the first great white hope. He had gone through 5 or 6 other fighters prior to this, prior to them actually convincing Jim Jeffries to come out of retirement to take that beating. So I mean, it was just it was a lot of desperation, and people thinking, hey, we can't have Jack Johnson be the heavyweight champion of the world. There was a color bar at that time, and black people weren't allowed to fight for the heavyweight championship. But even after Jack Johnson won it, he was not able to defend the title against another black fighter for like the first 5 years or so of his reign. Yeah. They were upset. Yeah, and Jim getting tossed around the ring for 15 rounds didn't help.
And him saying it doesn't matter if I was at my best on steroids, I wasn't gonna beat that man.
Why y'all did this to me?
Okay, where do we want to start, B?
I think we want to start right here at the beginning.
Okay,
with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, I had hoped that Frank Reich would have been gone by now. He's not. He's going to be returning for at least one more week, right?
Yeah.
Presumably, he will still be calling the plays, even though that went very, very poorly, predictably poorly against Dallas. Bryce Young got sacked 7 times. My favorite stretch was, I forget at what point in the game it was, but it was fairly early on, I guess. He got sacked on one play. Okay, it happens. They line it up again. He gets sacked again. And the announcers are talking about, man, like they can't really block these guys. You're going to have to keep people in to chip these edge rushers at some point. Yeah. So they line it up again in empty, 5 wide with nobody in to help. And they hike the ball again. Bryce is under duress immediately. But this time he evades the rush. He steps up into the pocket. He starts to run. He gains about 9-10 yards or so. He goes to, it looked like he was trying to do that old pump fake, even though I'm well past the line of scrimmage, I'm going to pump fake it just to see if he'll go for it. And he dropped the ball like he was Kyle Bowler. Just fell right out of his hand. And the good thing, the best part about this, he took the hit anyway. Okay, because the Cowboy was right on top of him at that point. So he dropped the ball and got hit right in the face, and Dallas recovered. So it was an ugly day. It wasn't all play calling. Obviously, the O-line didn't block anybody. Jonathan Mingo, was solely responsible for Bryce Young's interception that turned into a pick six. He ran a lazy route. He was drifting upfield. He allowed the defender to undercut him to intercept it. And then with, shades of Kelvin Benjamin, just quit on the play after the interception. He just stopped running and allowed, because Deron Bland had, he dove to intercept it. So he was on the ground. He hit the ground and he's rolling, trying to get back up. Jonathan Mingo could have, tagged him down at that point. But he was busy not trying. So Bland got up and ran it back for a touchdown. It's a whole mess in Carolina right now.
Yeah, listen, look, there are a lot of people out there that are saying, hey, they made the wrong pick. They should have gone for CJ Stroud. This is exactly what CJ Stroud would be looking like if he's playing for Carolina. I don't know what you guys want Bryce Young to do out there. He literally
to not play this week. That's what
I
want.
Yeah. So, what I want is for you guys to go back to start of the season and just have that foresight of this O-line is going to be bad this year. So let's go ahead and throw Andy Dalton out there so he can soak up some of these hits. Right. That's really the only thing you could do at that point. Is recognize this offense isn't where it needs to be. If we throw the rookie out there, he'll get killed, and we don't want to kill his confidence. Let's throw the veteran out there, right? Because look, Andy just trying to play.
Who's been beaten down by the world for many years now.
Yeah, he's had his moment, right? Yeah. He's had his moment, and he wants to go out there and show that he can still be a starter, so he can go out there and make the most out of that situation. Okay, and then around week 13 or so, then you can bench him and bring in Bryce Young to finish out the season, right? Give the team a little spark and a little hope for next season, and then you can fix things. That's really the only thing you could have done. But you're too late now. You've been trotting him out there every week, taking those hits. Benching him now, I mean, for his own protection, sure, but his confidence, I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't mean for the rest of the season. I meant specifically just against Dallas because that front is so good. And you knew you couldn't block them. I mean, we saw what they did to Daniel Jones. We saw what they circled back and did to Tommy DeVito. There was no chance for Bryce Young to go out there and not take that number of hits. Like I said, he got sacked 7 times. He got hit I don't know how many times. And that's, there was no chance that it was going to go any differently in that game.
Yeah.
Playing the Titans, fine. Throw Bryce Young out there and see if they can improve on things. I mean, not to say that the Titans front isn't good.
They're very good. I'm about to say
no. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying there's no Micah Parsons who is just gonna, I don't know, clap his hands in front of your lineman's face and make him turn around in the other direction so he comes in untouched.
Right. They got what's his name? Jefferson. Jefferson?
No, Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons. No,
and I understand. And I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I think that they'll be able to hold up better against the Titans than they did against the Cowboys front. Now, as far as the rest of the team, Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders, they played pretty well against Dallas. They had probably their best day running the ball. It didn't matter, obviously. I mean, they lost 33-10, but kudos to them for showing up and doing their job a bit. Awful in the receiving core, as always.
Yeah.
And the defense, I don't even really like to judge the defense that much because they have a ton of injuries on that side of the ball. A ton. And they weren't an overly talented defense to begin with, but they've been playing hard. They've been keeping Carolina in games a lot this season. And you expect it, but they kind of break down, after a certain amount of time. So I don't really like to criticize the defense too much. But that's just, and the problem there too is that side of the ball is not going to get any help because they have to use all of their picks, all of their cap space to rebuild that offensive line, to rebuild the wide receiver core, and get the offense right around Bryce Young. So the defense is going to have to kind of just settle. Outside of, they got to extend Brian Burns, and then they'll have to make some depth signings. But outside of that, it is what it is.
And they should have already signed Brian Burns. That should have been the first thing they did when they decided they weren't going to trade him. Get that extension done. And now they're playing around with his money. And they also didn't trade him again. So, I mean, it's this offseason, man. I mean, at this point, we don't think Frank Reich is gonna make it. The question that you see right there on the bottom of the screen is this his last game? Because we were wondering that. Everybody's wondering that, of course, when they're going to play Dallas, because we figured they're going to get crushed. And he took over play calling duties, right? And we're assuming the only reason you're doing that is because you're coaching for your job.
Yeah, and I had felt prior to that game that it would be a little bit unfair for the owner to say, we need to see an improvement against Dallas or you're fired, right? Because Dallas is one of the better teams in the league. That wasn't going to happen regardless.
But it's Tepper, so I expect him to be unreasonable.
Right. But so maybe he's giving them another week or two and saying, hey, over the next 3 weeks, I need to see some improvement or you're going to be fired. Maybe it's just going to be 2 weeks and he's out this week. I don't know. But I do think that they should get him out sooner rather than later if that's the way that Tepper is leaning, which it seems like he is. And I've said this multiple times on different shows, because you want to get your interim coach in there, whether that's Thomas Brown, whether that's Evero, whether it's Jim Caldwell or somebody else on the staff, and see what they can do and see if maybe you can salvage this, all-star staff that you put together this offseason. Because it's not working under Frank Reich, but that doesn't mean it can't work, period.
Yeah, listen, he's wasting time. Listen, shout out to Aaron Duncan over on Unnecessary Bluntness. I was checking out his stream the other day. Made a lot of good points. But David Tepper is one of the worst owners in the league. Like, he does not know what he's doing, and like he keeps compounding on his mishaps. I don't even want to call them mistakes. They're intentional. His mishaps, right? Get rid of Frank Reich. Like, what can Frank Reich do at this point to keep his job? You know what I'm saying? Win out? Like, that's not going to happen, right? Like, so all you're doing is wasting time week by week. Get rid of him because you're not going to keep him. I think that's obvious at this point, right? And try to see if one of those coaches can be your next head coach, because you're gonna be hard pressed to get a coach to come here.
Yeah, GM too.
And GM. Yeah. Oh yeah, Tepper can go. Not Tepper. Fitterer can go too.
Yeah.
You've done enough, my friend. You can go now. All right.
As much as we're sitting here talking about Frank Reich being gone, I'll take another year of Frank Reich if you tell me that Scott's gone.
Yeah, because
Scott Fitterer has done a terrible job so far in Carolina.
Yeah. So look, Aaron Duncan, he made the point. What needs to happen this offseason, Tepper needs to hire a president that he trusts. Let that president find the GM. Him and the GM find the next head coach. And David Tepper needs to stay the hell away.
Yeah.
Right? Like
ideally.
Yes.
But I know that, for example, I know that Evero's a good coach, and I know that he's going to be in demand as a head coach. So if they can get him in there for the last 7 games of the season, or 6 games at this point, because Frank's got another one, and see what he has as a head coach, maybe they can convince him to stay and be Carolina's next head coach. And I think that wouldn't prevent you from getting a quality GM, because I think Evero's well respected around the league.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Carolina to get anybody to come there and try to turn that mess around.
Yeah, I mean the next head coach is probably on this roster. There's good coaches on the roster, but get rid of Frank right now. And listen, man, like, your interview process starts right now, because that's who you're looking at.
Yeah. The one thing I don't want to hear is bring back Steve Wilkes. All right. So moving on to the Ravens and the Chargers. Baltimore coming off of 2 big wins this week. They got their win in their game over Cincinnati, obviously, after you ruined Macaulay Culkin's season. He's out for the year. Bengals fans crying, but then they got another huge win.
Well, what's real messed up.
What?
when you called him Macaulay Culkin the first time, talking about Joe Burrow, I was like, okay, I see it. But then, the actual Macaulay Culkin he has a commercial out as a grown up doing like the Home Alone, little Home Alone skit. I'm like, that really is Joe Burrow,
right? He looks but the Ravens got another big win yesterday, last night, Monday Night Football, as the Kansas City Chiefs fell to the Philadelphia Eagles, making Baltimore the number 1 seed in the AFC for the moment. They're a game ahead of most teams, having not had their bye yet. But it's crazy because they're playing the Chargers, who lost this week in large part because rookie wide receiver out of TCU, Quentin Johnston, let a Justin Herbert pass hit him right in his hands, and he just fell down and dropped it. And that's exactly how the Chiefs lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Was Marquez Scantling.
Yeah. And Travis Kelce dropped the pass before that, but nobody's going to talk about
it. Justin Watson dropped the ball on 4th and 25. That would have been a first down.
He dropped a few balls.
Went right through his hands.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs, an organization like that, they're trying to win a Super Bowl every year. They're not going to stand for that. And whether they win a Super Bowl this year or not, this offseason, I promise you, they're going to upgrade in a major way. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really just seems like those Kansas City wide receivers, I mean, they're lacking in focus, right? Because that's what happened in week 1 when they lost to Detroit. It was other receivers. It was Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney dropping everything in sight. Yeah. And then last night it was Justin Watson. It was Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Even Travis Kelce got in on the act. And I say that to say, hey, had you gone ahead on over to magicmind.com, put in your order, maybe you drank a couple of Magic Minds for the last week, one a day, maybe you wouldn't be having those kind of concentration and focus issues. Right
now, yes. Okay, look, I know you guys have been watching our videos we've been putting out. I know you guys saw the last video. It's over 4,000 views on it. Good Lord, you guys love Lamar Jackson. You love this man, right? Magic Mind is a product that we tried out. B got me to try it. Hendo got to try it as well. This is very good stuff. All right. It really does help you focus. I know you heard us plug it a few times. I like it. And, I'm skeptical of anything that's green. Okay. Green is my favorite color. I do not like to consume the color green. It's a green drink, but it's good. It tastes good, and it does help you stay alert.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, just with work and making these videos and things like that, it helps you just stay in the zone. Kind of, they call it like a flow state, where you're just working, and the passage of time isn't really bothering you. You're not losing that focus. You're not getting distracted, left and right by different things. Because that's what always happens to me when I'm either editing a video or doing my day-to-day job, or if I'm trying to write or something like that. Everything is a distraction. My mind wants to do anything other than what I am trying to do right now. But I had been taking Magic Mind or drinking Magic Mind for about a week, and I stay locked in, and I can get whatever it is I need to get done. I get it done, and I can just move on. I don't have a lot of that wasted time that I do otherwise with these distractions. Right. It's all natural ingredients. We talked about before. You got ashwagandha, you got lion's mane, you got matcha for the taste, and you don't have to worry about a bunch of chemicals or anything like that. I believe there's no sugar added as well. It's really good stuff. Yeah. They call it like a productivity shot, and that's exactly what it's been. Yeah. So if that's something that you think could help you, you can head to magicmind.com/lunchbreak and use the code HT20. That's H for hot, T for take, 20, HT20. And that'll get you a discount on your order, 20% off of an order, or up to 56% off of a subscription order, which is what we recommend because you don't want to run out. I'm out right now.
Me too.
And it was a long day at work. let
Yeah.
me tell you that.
But we'll also put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. All right. Okay. So, the Ravens are playing the Chargers, who they are not having a good season.
No,
they're not having a good season. Well, I'm not sure what the record is now. They're pretty much out of the playoffs.
They're not out of the playoffs yet. They're just not good enough to make it.
And we're talking about another coach that should be gone. Staley should be out of here. He should be gone faster than Frank Reich. Only because as bad as Frank Reich is doing, this is his first year. This is Staley's third year?
Yes, third year, I believe.
And he took over after they got Justin Herbert. And when he took over, he was supposed to take them to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. He was supposed to make them a championship caliber team. That's why they fired Anthony Lynn.
Yeah,
right. And he's done worse than Anthony Lynn.
Absolutely.
Right. So I would have fired him after their meltdown in the playoffs last year to the Jaguars. But they kept them around, thinking, hey, new season, got a lot of talent, we'll bring everybody back. People are going to be healthy. Different, we're going to have a different outcome. They're doing a terrible job. There's no reason to keep him around. Just fire him. Right.
And I think he will be fired. There's rumors about possibly Bill Belichick going to LA to take them over after this season, and Mike Vrabel leaving Tennessee to go back to New England. They're playing a little musical chairs there. I think that it would be phenomenal for the Chargers. I think Bill Belichick is still a great coach. He's got McCorkle Jones playing quarterback for him. And it would be a massive upgrade, obviously, to go to Justin Herbert. I meant to actually tell you before we started recording. I don't know if you ever watch her videos, but Annie Agar, who does these skits after every week, doing kind of like dressing up as the different teams and having like an NFL.
Yeah.
She was talking about, she said the best duo in the NFL is Justin Herbert and the word if. And I was like, that's messed up, but not inaccurate. So yeah, the Chargers, they need somebody to kind of give them direction. And this is kind of what I think about when I think of Ron Rivera as a coach, right? Now, obviously, I'm not advocating that they hire Ron Rivera, but if you're spiraling out of control, Ron Rivera can steady the ship, right, and get you to respectable. But then you got to get him out, because then he's not going to take you to that next level. And if you hang around too long, there's a good chance that you're going to spiral out again. Yeah, right. So you got to get Ron in there, let him steady the ship, get Ron out, get somebody else in. But if you can just skip that altogether and go to a guy like Bill Belichick or even a Jim Harbaugh or something like that, then obviously that's preferable. But this week, I think that they're a dangerous team for the Ravens. Because they have so much offensive talent. They have a great running back in Austin Eckler. But I don't think that the Ravens are going to fall into that trap. I expect the Ravens to be locked in, and I expect them to be locked in for the rest of the season. Honestly, they're chasing that number 1 seed. So I don't think they're going to fall victim to the trap game. They're not going to get got by Justin Herbert. I expect a pretty good sized win for Baltimore.
I'm not going to fall for it again. Listen, this is what I thought before. Hey, we lost to the Colts. We lost to the Steelers. 2 terrible losses we shouldn't have lost, right? Because we just fell asleep at the wheel, right? And then we lost to the Browns. And that win would have put us comfortably ahead atop the AFC North, right? And at the time, all the teams looked like they could make the playoffs.
Yeah. So
I was like, okay, we get this win. That, we're good, and then we lose. We lose to Deshaun Watson that had a broken shoulder, Then we go out this week and we beat the Bengals, and we're ahead again. And now the Eagles beat the Chiefs, so we're number 1. And I feel like this is just what John Harbaugh does, man. Like, he's a little comfortable now. And we're getting ready to go into, we had 10 days. We had 10 days to prepare. And, oh, okay, yeah. How can we lose this game? And it's the first day off. Yeah, it's the Chargers. The Chargers was lost to the Packers, right? And the Chargers, as bad as they are record wise, they are not the Colts. They are not the Steelers.
No, they're not.
They are dangerous, man. They have some legit talent. They could hurt us, B.
Unless they target Quentin Johnston. I hear you. I don't think that it's going to go down that way this time. I think that the Ravens will come in and they will take care of business against the Chargers.
Well, let me tell you my concerns. The last couple of weeks, well, it's been longer than that. We've been having issues stopping the run, especially to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Eckler is that guy. He's probably the best running back we're going to have played up to this point. And he could kill us that way. And he can catch. He can do a whole lot. That could be problems for us if we don't tackle. And that's what it comes down to. We got to tackle better, right? In the Browns game, I can't remember how many missed tackles we had, but I know Patrick Queen had like 5 missed tackles in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have that. You know, I'm not sure how many missed tackles we had in this Cincinnati game, but I know Mixon was getting all the yards he wanted. So
yeah.
that's a concern for me, because if Austin Eckler gets going and we're trying to commit to stopping the run, Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. All right. Keenan Allen's a good wide receiver. Like, they can light us up, even with the secondary, as good as the secondary is. So we have to really play a disciplined game. When we play disciplined, I think we can beat any team.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it, especially in that defense. That defense, when they're on the same page, they can shut down anybody. I don't care who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When we're playing discipline on offense, we can put up points on anybody. But that's the issue I have with John Harbaugh, is he's not consistent enough as a coach. I don't like when people make excuses for him, right? You don't make excuses for players. We keep talking about Ronnie Stanley on this show every week, and people love pointing out how he's just not as good anymore. Some people just call him straight up trash. I don't know how you call him straight up trash when you see what we have behind him when he doesn't play. But that's what people say, because they hold him to a certain standard, and when he doesn't hold to that standard, it's get rid of him. When your head coach doesn't live up to that standard, there's all kinds of excuses. It's, oh, well, the players got to do their job. Oh, what is this? Oh, well, you can't win every week. Well, you're supposed to win every week, and you're not supposed to lose to the teams we've been losing to, right? There's a certain standard that you're held to, and when you criticize them, people want to go and defend them. Don't defend that. Don't defend bad coaching. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he's had some bad coaching games.
He's a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach.
He is a bad coach, because he's a bad coach of a good team. Like, you lost to the Browns because he said, I'm not going to give Keaton Mitchell the ball, even though he's the most effective player on the offense today. I'm just not going to do it. That's why you lost that game. Period. That's not something a good coach does.
We're gonna have to have a deeper conversation on what a good coach and a bad coach is. Because bad coaches can win Super Bowls.
Yeah,
that's true. But if he wins another one, that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I won't call him a bad coach.
I mean, listen, I'll say this: bad coaches could even win 2 Super Bowls if you refuse to fire them, and they're just your coach forever. I mean, you're not going to stay bad forever, right? They lucked into Lamar Jackson, and now they're back. They weren't anything prior to that. Yeah.
And you know what? And that Super Bowl is over 10 years ago. I mean, times change. Coaches don't stay great forever.
Right. I'm not saying he was never a good coach. I'm saying he's not a good coach today.
That could be true.
Speaking of bad coaches. Hey, Steelers fired Matt Canada.
Hey,
this was shocking though, because this was the first time they fired a coach in season since 1941. It's not a thing that Pittsburgh does, which should tell you just how bad a job Matt Canada was doing. Somebody asked Mike Tomlin what kind of changes he wants to see schematically to the team, and I mean, road weary Mike Tomlin just said, "I just want to see some points."
Yeah. Somebody said the last time they fired a coach, black people weren't allowed to eat in restaurants.
Yeah, that's true.
And actually, I think I read it right. That last firing was a little fraudulent. The guy fired himself.
I mean,
You know,
but it happened in season. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the main point right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been 80 plus years since they've done that. So Matt Canada, hats off to you, making history. Best of luck wherever, whatever D2 school you coach next. But the Steelers are, Steelers are still going to be bad. It's still the Kenny Pickett show, right?
Yeah, they got to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
This is what it comes down to. They have to get a quarterback. They have, I'm not sure who's taking over. I think it's a combination of two coaches on the staff that are going to.
Yeah, there were rumors about him wanting to bring in Gruden, but I don't really see that.
Gruden,
and certainly not mid-season. Jonathan.
I mean, Jay Gruden's more the offensive guy, right?
No, I mean John was too. He's just you don't think of him that way anymore because he was a head coach for so long. But but I don't think that would be happening in season anyway. And not to say that Matt Canada wasn't a problem, but the biggest problem is Kenneth. That's not one that you can really fix right now.
No, it's not. But they
figure the backup is Mitchell Trubisky.
But they see enough from Canada. They're like, all right. I mean, it's going south. You can go now.
Yeah.
So
incredible quarterback division you have there with Kenny Pickett, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Jake Browning lining up behind Lamar, and they're all within a game.
A gauntlet in the AFC North.
So congratulations. Congratulations to your AFC North champion, Baltimore Ravens.
And we have to update this because, we set goals. We set goals for this channel to reach 2,000 subscribers. By the way, if you're watching this right now, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Right? We set a goal for 2,000 subscribers. We said before Matt Canada gets fired because we thought he'd get fired at the end of the season. So we're gonna have to amend that, or you guys can just help us get 2,000 tonight. You can do that.
Right now, we're kind of like the Matt Canadas of podcasting, but that thing, man, that's not great. We're a couple hundred short on that one.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's okay. We're gonna go ahead and move on here because, like I said, congratulations to AFC North champ Baltimore Ravens. There's not a whole lot more to talk about that division at this point. So we're going to move on to our submitted questions. We've got a couple questions. One from Jay the Six, and this first one I'm not going to bring up yet because I need to take down the Matt Canada thing and put up the submitted questions one. But now I'm going to bring it up. Well, this one's from Jay. We're going to go with the other one first. I'm not sure who the user was. The name didn't come through there. So if it is you in the chat, just let us know. We'll give you the points. Do you guys think the Ravens make the playoffs this year? Thanks. Love the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yes. I think they are a lock to make the playoff. I mean, obviously anything can happen. If Lamar gets hurt, maybe they don't make it. But at this point, they look like a lock to not only make the playoffs, but win the division. And they're challenging for that 1 seed. I would be absolutely shocked if they did not make it.
That'd be the biggest shock in the league, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they are comfortably ahead. Well, I won't say comfortably ahead, but they are in a very good position.
They're pretty comfortably ahead of Kenneth Pickett.
Yeah, they're in
and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yes, they're absolutely going to make it. It's a question of can they maintain the number 1 seed, the number 1 right now? Can they maintain it? They can.
Yeah.
Kansas City doesn't have the easiest schedule either coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We can maintain that number 1 seed. Will we do it? I don't know. But to me, it doesn't matter, right? We're good enough to beat any of these teams in the playoffs. We're good enough. Are we going to do it? Is the only question I have, right? So that's that. Yes, they are a playoff team. How far would it go? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm getting very excited for the eventual Lamar versus Pat Mahomes in the AFC Championship this year. That's going to be fantastic.
Yes.
And I'll be happy either way because I'm not a Ravens fan. Jay the Six, do you think it's safe for LeBron to be playing all these minutes at his age? Will he be good to go come playoff time? I mean, when you said, is it safe? I'm like, he's not going to die.
Right.
And at this age, he's 38. He's fine. But thank you for the question, Jay. No, I think that he's okay. They're weathering some injuries right now, and still trying to gel as a team. They have a lot of new pieces, and he's had to play. Oh my God, he's had to play regular NBA starter minutes, and he is old, and they don't want to play him that much. But I don't think it's going to be a full season thing, and I think he'll be fine. He's going to get plenty of rest because that new rule about load management doesn't apply to LeBron.
No, it doesn't.
Because he's very old, Jay.
Well, okay. So I want to say this. Yes,
yeah.
Father Time is undefeated. I get this, right? But every body is different, and obviously LeBron James is a physical specimen. Not only naturally gifted, he's taking care of his body like you've never seen an athlete take care of their body before, right? Which is why he's able to still play at a high level. You don't see 38-year-old players in the NBA play at this level. He's still one of the best players in the league. Whatever he does, he's doing it well. I know some people say, "Oh, well, it's steroids. Steroids don't keep you no, not in your late 30s. You know,
not in your early 20s.
I think his body is way more equipped to play through the season than James Harden's is. Yeah. Right? James Harden, I would be more worried about him breaking down. Well, actually, that whole team, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I'd be more worried about any of those Clippers players breaking down before LeBron James.
Yeah.
Okay.
And listen, he has to play the minutes now because the in-season tournament is now. And tonight, as we're recording this, not tonight as you're watching, but tonight as we're recording this, they have a chance to clinch a spot in the knockout round against the Utah Jazz tonight. So if they beat Utah, they're through to the next round of the tournament. And I'm happy to see the players are taking it pretty seriously.
Yes.
So I expect him to play as many minutes as needed, and he'll be fine come playoff time, I think. So we're going to go ahead and move on here.
Is that the last of the submitted questions?
Yes. Jay submitted another question, but you don't get two.
Okay. So I just want to reiterate here. Submitted questions, you get points. Okay. If you're new here, we do a point system because we're not live. Not sure how that's going to work for the chat, but watching the show, participating in the chat will get you points. Submitting questions and we read them on air, that'll get you points. Answering our trivia question will get you points. Donating to the show. So even though we're not live, if you donate to the show, okay, what we're going to do, you get your points. We're also going to give you, we're gonna play your message on the following week's show so we can read it because we like to acknowledge when people donate and leave their comments. So we'll still have the pin link in the chat box. We'll still have, Cash App is always available. Okay. $ LBHT Show. Do those things. Leave your message and we will make sure to play it and you'll get points. The points go towards prizes at the end of the month. Okay. The person with the most points gets to essentially pick their prize within reason, right? What we say, like $100 range or so. Okay. And then the second prize is a drawing for a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do to qualify for that drawing is to get 1,000 points. Right. And just all the things that we said you can do to get points is how you do it. And you can rack up points pretty quickly. Okay. Yes. If you follow the show. Okay.
And honestly, if you want me to be able to get an authentic samurai sword when I go to Japan, we need the donations. Okay. We got to have them.
Yes. B is going to Japan here soon. And he is trying to raise funds for a samurai sword. And if you want a true one, if you want a good quality one,
that's right.
That costs a little bit of money.
It does. It costs quite a bit, but you only have to put down 10%. So hit up the Cash App. Okay.
Okay. What do we have next?
Next, we've got, I don't know why this is a story, but LaMelo Ball's tattoo controversy.
Yes. Okay. So we were just reading it. I saw the tweets going on about it. I saw the tattoo and I was like, okay, it's a neck tattoo. Lots of people have neck tattoos. And it's his initials or initials for his middle name, right? Which I already forgot what it is.
LaFrance.
LaFrance. Okay. I was like, so what? Well, the problem is it's now the name of his company. It's a clothing line, right? And the NBA says, hold up. We have rules against those type of things, right? You can't just be out there advertising things on company time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now they're making them cover it up. He's working with the league to try to get this resolved, and I think they already found a resolution. I think the resolution is you're going to cover it up.
Right. Yeah, look, and I know that initially it probably hit some people like, that's messed up. It's his
It
body.
did. My initial reaction is like, what's the big deal?
But the fact is, advertisers pay a lot of money to use that NBA platform to advertise their stuff, right? And so they're not going to take kindly to NBA players being able to tattoo whatever they want on their neck or their face or wherever and get that same kind of that same exposure. So I mean, if he wants to pay for some ad time like the people do who put the patches on the jerseys, there you go, cool.
Or, listen, Michael Jordan went through this when he first started, right? Him and Nike. The shoes that they wanted him to wear, he wasn't. The NBA wasn't going to allow him to wear those shoes, and Nike said, "Well, we'll just pay the fine. We don't care."
Yeah.
Right now, if you have conviction in your company, LaMelo, you say, "I don't care. I'll pay the fine." Right? I'll pay. Yeah, I'm gonna rock my tattoo. Y'all gonna buy my clothes, and I'll pay that fine. Right? That's my advertisement fee right there. I'll pay that fine every week or every game or whatever. Calculate it. It's gonna cost this much or whatever, and that is your advertisement budget.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could do that.
But we're not gonna buy your clothes if you keep pushing Drew Holiday down and acting like you broke his ankles.
The streets won't remember it that way, okay? And that would have been a perfect time.
I'm gonna make sure they do. Okay?
That would have been a perfect opportunity. That's exactly why you pay the fine, right? People have that. People see the neck tattoo. They see you crossing up Drew Holiday, right? Rip it off. Pay it, okay? Take a risk.
Yeah, so LaMelo, pay the fine or cover it up. I don't really care either way, but yeah, you can't just break the rules whenever you feel like it. All right, you're LaMelo Ball. We already let you break one rule. Now it's taking Melo's name. All right, we're not standing for the rest.
I will. There's only one Melo. Okay, that's Carmelo.
All right. Next up, we've got Combat Corner Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos. This was from last Thursday. They were trying to kind of package this with the Las Vegas F1 race, which also, didn't go great. That was really weird. I don't know if you saw, but they had Bruce Buffer there introducing the drivers, and like they didn't understand it because they're all the F1 drivers pretty much are European.
Yeah,
and they come out and he's there doing his thing because Bruce is giving you 100% effort all the time. So he's doing the Bruce Buffer intro, and they're like, okay, and then they just walk off and go to their car. It was weird. But the Shakur Stevenson fight, it was a Thursday night. De Los Santos is, not a bad fighter, but not a fighter who's on Stevenson's level. Doesn't have a ton of experience, and it wasn't a great fight. Stevenson won fairly easily on the cards, but it just wasn't a great event.
Did Bruce Buffer announce, or did he?
No. He was at the F1 event on Saturday or whatever day it was.
So you have Bruce Buffer who introduces boxers, not at the boxing event.
Hey! He doesn't introduce boxers. He introduces MMA fighters.
Oh, Bruce. Oh, yeah, right.
Bruce,
not
Bruce,
Michael Buffer.
Bruce.
Yeah,
and that's what made it that was weird because how Bruce gets down. He has a different energy than Michael Buffer has, and a different energy than they've probably seen at an F1 event.
Okay, for those of you guys that don't know, okay, you guys know who Michael Buffer is. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, you all know who that is. His brother Bruce Buffer is quite a treat. Okay,
yes.
He really gets into it. Like UFC fans, yeah, he's great. He's great. He gets real hyped up. The fighters get hyped up. They always want to fist bump him, right? But like he'll be right in the fighter's face while he's introducing them, and he just pumping them up,
It's because it's time, Jose.
It's time, right? That I love it.
Yeah.
It never gets old for me.
It's
It
outstanding.
Yeah, it never gets old for me. Fighters that look like they're a little shook before the fight, when he gets over there, they're like, yeah, it is me. So,
but yeah, these
but
drivers, they didn't really know what was going
I
on.
was gonna ask, how did the racers? Did he get in their faces? Was
He
walking
wasn't like in their, like they were standing next to him, but he wasn't like all up in their faces. Like
See, they didn't get the full effect.
He toned it down a little bit. He toned it down a
Okay.
little bit. Like he wasn't jumping around and doing the pointing and whatnot.
He
He
should
was
have
right
given the
there.
full effect.
But they were confused a little bit. Like, like someone, I saw one, he was kind of enjoying it. He was smiling, but it was like a confused smile. Like, this is all right, but I don't know what it is. and then they just have to, like, after he's done, they just have to walk off to the cars are lined up behind him, and they just walk up to their car. And
they should have sprinted. They should tell him run.
And there's so many of them. Like, it's just, I don't know. But this detour should tell you.
There was much to talk about this team.
So
okay, all right.
Shakur Stevenson, fantastic.
It wasn't, and he admitted himself that it wasn't his best performance. The obligatory, my shoulder hurt or something like that. There's always some injury that is the reason why a fighter doesn't perform well. Now, granted, like, he won the fight. There's no question about that. He just didn't look like the Shakur Stevenson that we were expecting to see out there.
It wasn't a fight that's going to make people clamor to see you against Haney or Lomachenko or something like that. When you put on a show, people are like, man, give him a shot against, whoever the top guy is. And it wasn't that kind of fight. He went out there, he won easily, but it wasn't super compelling.
Here's my thing about that, right? And Shakur Stevenson is young. You don't need to make any excuses about it. Sometimes you just have off nights. Yeah. And this is a easily one that you can write off, because Bob Arum put you in a bad position from the jump. You're fighting on Thursday night, the same night as the Ravens game. Okay, one of the better Thursday night games, or more anticipated Thursday night games, right, on the NFL schedule. You're competing with F1 racing that weekend. Like, they try to package you into that. It wasn't a good billing.
It was just a weird thing all the way around.
And you can easily say, hey, listen, man, like, I put as much energy as my promotion team put into this. Right. So, you write that off and say, hey, I got my belt. I got the win. You don't have to justify anything. You win. That's all you need to do is win. Right. And say, hey, look, okay, it wasn't my best, but I'm still a champion. It's on to the next fight. And the next fight you put on the show, it's not a big deal.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But yeah, he won pretty easily. He'll be, in line to have a big fight his next time out. The problem for him right now is there's probably not a lot of people who want that fight.
Yeah.
Devin Haney doesn't want that fight. Tank probably doesn't want that fight right now either. Lomachenko might want it, but Lomachenko's not a big draw either. So he's in a little bit of a tough spot. But he's very young. Those fights will come, and this isn't a big deal at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on, it is time for the rapid fire Week 12 predictions.
Oh, let's go. Listen, we might not be live. But the chat is going on. Okay. So type fast. We're going to go rapid fire this time. Let's go, B.
Yes, we got games on 4 days this week. We got Thanksgiving. We got the first ever Black Friday game. Then obviously Sunday and Monday. So starting out with the Thanksgiving games, we got Green Bay at Detroit. Detroit 8-2. They said for the first time since the John F. Kennedy administration. I'm taking the Lions. I got the Lions. It's an incredible and an incredibly embarrassing achievement. Washington at Dallas. Washington coming off just a terrible loss to the New York Giants, and it's not going to get any better on Thursday. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah, I got Dallas. They're gonna play better, but I got Dallas.
Yeah, they have to play better. They turned it over 6 times. San Francisco at Seattle is your evening Thanksgiving game. Oh, man, I'm not sure that Geno's going to be 100% healthy. He got hurt towards the end of the game last week. He had to come out, and Drew Lock came in and did Drew Lock things That's throwing an interception. And I'm not certain that Geno's going to be 100%. I think he is playing, but I'm taking San Francisco in this one regardless.
Had Geno been healthy, and Kenneth Walker, it looks like he's doubtful too.
Yeah.
Had they been healthy, I would have gone with Seattle at home. But we don't even know Geno's playing yet. So yeah, I have to go with San Francisco.
On Friday on Amazon Prime, the first ever Black Friday game, the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. I know they were pumped when they secured the rights to that one preseason.
Yeah,
Thinking they had Tua and Aaron Rodgers late in the year for the division, maybe for the once. Anyway,
now they don't even have Zach Wilson.
Right? Tim Boyle, Aaron Rodgers' little buddy, Tim Boyle, going up against the Miami Dolphins. They're going to catch a beating.
The Dolphins by 50.
Starting up the Sunday games, you got New Orleans at Atlanta. Could not care less. New Orleans is leading the division, I guess. I'm gonna take the Falcons in an upset. Wait, no, they put Desmond Ridder back in. I'm taking the Saints.
I got the Saints. You see, Michael Thomas is back on IR.
Yeah, he is. But Desmond Ritter's back on the field. So
yeah.
Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Ooh. Matt Canada's gone, but so is Joe Burrow. I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one.
Well, you said two positives there for Steelers. I got the Steelers.
Carolina, Tennessee. I'm saying Tennessee.
I got Carolina.
All right. Moving on to Tampa Bay and the Indianapolis.
No score prediction?
Oh, God damn it. All right. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take Tennessee 21-10.
I'm going to say Carolina 13-9, and Frank Reich still gets fired.
Tampa Bay at Indianapolis. Tampa Bay, I don't know why the announcers were trying to hype them up all game last week when they were playing in San Francisco. They're not them, but neither are the Colts. But I'm going to take Gardner over the Baker.
I got Tampa Bay.
Home.
Tampa Bay for me.
New England at the New York Giants. Both these teams are just awful messes. Tommy DeVito coming off a great game statistically. He took 9 sacks in that one, but he did throw 3 touchdowns and get the win. But I'm going to take New England on the road, and New York can't get it done again.
No. I got New England.
Jacksonville at Houston. This one I think is really interesting. CJ Stroud coming off of maybe his worst game, but still getting the win. Jacksonville has been pretty hot recently. I mean, obviously they took that loss to San Francisco and everything, but I'm going to take I think I'm going to take the Texans at home.
I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Cleveland at Denver. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. No, Russ is cooking.
He really is.
The defense is back on track. I'm taking Denver at home.
Russ is really cooking. I'm still stunned by that. Does he lead the league in touchdown passes? No, touchdown to interception ratio is what they said. Yeah. 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's going to continue that streak. I got Russ. 5 wins in a row they're going to have.
Yeah. LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray's back, but it feels like it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one.
I got the Cardinals. In this.
Kansas City at the Las Vegas Raiders. Short week for Kansas City, but it's the Raiders. So I'm taking the Chiefs to get back on the winning track.
I think they're going to take all their frustration out on Las Vegas.
Yeah. A big one here with Buffalo at Philadelphia. This is a really important game for Buffalo. Philly is on that same short week as Kansas City, and I think that they will be having an emotional letdown after getting that big win, and I'm taking Buffalo on the road in the upset.
They have to be more desperate, but I got Philly, man. Buffalo, I got to see them beat a good team.
You did. They beat Miami. Beat them down.
They did. That's right.
Baltimore at the Chargers. We talked about this one earlier. I'm taking Baltimore, and I'm going to say that they keep their 30-point streak going. Did they score 30 this past week? They did, right? I believe they did.
Yes, 34.
Yeah. I'm going to say they keep that going, and they go 35-27 over the Chargers.
I think it's going to be we'll win, but it's going to be one on ones that we're frustrated again. It'll be a close one. We'll win 27-24.
And lastly, on Monday night, the Chicago Bears at the recently surging Minnesota Vikings. Chicago had that big lead against Detroit, gave it all away. Minnesota had won, I want to say 5 in a row, including a few with Josh Dobbs before they fell to Denver in a really close one. And Chicago has given you no reason to believe. So I'm taking Minnesota at home on Monday night.
Yep, I got Minnesota.
And that is it.
Yay, look at that. Right. Okay, so trivia time. How are we going to do trivia time when we're not live? Here's how we're going to do it. All right. B's going to ask a question. You're going to DM us, right? Let me pull up where you can contact us. There's all kinds of ways to get in touch with us. Okay. At LBHT Show. Okay. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. All right. Facebook. It's all the same. At LBHT Show. Okay. Also, you can email us. LBHTshow@gmail.com. Okay. Mm-hmm. However you want to get the answer to us, you contact us. And because it's the holidays, anybody, not just the first 3 people, anybody that emails us with the right answer or contact us, DM us or emails us with the right answer will get points. Okay.
Yes. Because I'm feeling very generous.
I'll be very disappointed since this is an untimed open book quiz. I'll be very disappointed if you DM us the wrong answer.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be a very easy one because we said the answer in the show. So it's throwing a softball out there for you. We're trying to give away points. On what date did the Galveston Giant, which, by the way, I did mention it in the video, but it's hilarious to me that he's the Galveston Giant. He was 6 feet tall. People were so tiny back in the day. On what date did Jack Johnson become the heavyweight champion of the world?
There you go. All you have to do is rewind it. Okay.
Yeah.
Rewind it. I also want to mention too, we should have said this earlier. Share this video out.
By earlier you mean like 3 years ago when we started?
Yeah. Share this video out. Yeah, we should add that to points. But share this video out on social media, tag us, and we will also give you some points for that. Okay. Yes. We'll give you some points for that. But look, replay just as good as the live, but this ain't even live. This is a replay itself. Okay. The replay. Okay. All right. Listen, this is not live, so it's a shorter show.
Well, I think that, in honor of the holidays, we should give them like 15-20 minute bonus time right now.
You want to do bonus time right now?
We'll give them a 20-minute bonus time. So go ahead, throw your questions in the chat. Anything you want to bring up,
anything at all.
We here all night.
Listen. We do want to take this time to thank everybody for supporting us over the years. We are close to 2,000. Okay, the subscribers are going up. Help us reach that goal by the end of the year. Also, we have another goal: Patreon.com/LBHT Show. Okay, thank you to the people who have been supporting us this whole time. We have the people that have signed up have been signed up for a while, man. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you see how we've been putting it into the show. Okay, we always try to improve the show, but our goal it's a lofty goal. Okay, but I think we can do it. 100 patrons. Okay. We're more than halfway there already. Consider signing up. You can do it for as little as $5 a month. In fact, we got a little time, B. Go through the tiers real quick.
Oh, yeah, we have the $5 tier, which will get you into our NFL Pick'em League, where we give away a custom LBHT trophy or plaque, which is what we did last year. We got to figure that out for this season. We have the $10 tier, which will get you into our fantasy football leagues. We have a dynasty league and a redraft league. Obviously, if there's enough interest, we'll start up another league as well. And actually, there are a couple of open spots in the dynasty league if anybody's interested in taking over, because that is a multi-year kind of thing. Yeah. You also get the LBHT crew coin that Jose definitely has right there. And we also have the $20 tier, which is kind of a combined tier for this show and our boxing podcast, Ring Kings podcast. Then we have our $60 tier, which is the creator tier for anybody who is interested in starting up a YouTube channel or podcast, or maybe you've already started and you just want some advice on kind of how to avoid some of the normal pitfalls and how to grow your channel a bit.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to do a quick bonus since we're not gonna do an overtime show. I did want to talk about the Eagles making a cut. Okay, you guys, I'm not sure if you heard this. Okay, Bernard Williams was surprised about this cut. He was very surprised. Why was he so surprised? The man's 51 years old,
and they ain't been paying him.
Yeah, and he hasn't played since, what was it, 92 or 94?
Yeah,
since the early 90s. They called him. I believe they called him and said, "Hey, we just want to let you know, man, we're letting you go." And he was like, "Who is this?" So apparently he got suspended, and he didn't reapply or didn't apply for reinstatement. And I guess everybody just kind of let it go. And there's a process for that, and they're supposed to officially release him, and they did not release him. And in 2023, somebody's looking at the books and said, "Uh-oh."
And listen, if I am the New York Giants or the Dallas Cowboys or the Washington Commanders, I am petitioning the league to make Philly forfeit every game since then, because they've been over the 53-man roster limit every single game.
Is that true?
It has to be true.
That has to be true.
He was still on the roster, right?
He wasn't reinstated though.
But he's still on the roster.
They're gonna have to. I would force a hardcore audit on that.
I really, listen. Either they forfeit all the games, or you give me some draft compensation or something. I'll tell you what, it ain't gonna stand like this. Right? They just had an extra player for 30+ years.
If I'm Bernard Williams, I'm asking for something. Like, can I get some jerseys, some photos, like something? You know, can you bring me in to the facility and then cut me officially?
Right.
Let me take some pictures with people. Like, it's a funny story, right?
Well, and because, especially for him, because you're in the news now, and it's not just a funny story for him, because everybody's finding out he was on drugs in the early 90s.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Well, you put my business out there, so we're gonna have to discuss that,
So I would need something.
Yeah.
Get a picture with Jalen Hurts or something.
Also, I want to mention Deion Sanders coached Colorado Buffaloes. Very popular story this season. They were officially eliminated from bowl consideration. Okay.
Yes.
You have to win 6 games in a season. They lost this last game to Washington State, so they cannot win. They cannot win 6 games. They have 1 game left, I believe. So they're officially eliminated from that. But I want to ask you, is this a failure of a season, considering where they were last year?
It's not a failure of a season. It's not a great season, but it's not a failure of a season. They won 1 game last year, right? And their objective for this season was to obviously improve, which they did. They won 4 games, possibly 5. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Utah, but possibly 5. And more important than that, they got the program back into the national eye, back into everybody's attention. Who was thinking about Colorado football before this season? Nobody.
Right.
And it was a once proud program. They won a national championship in 1989. I think it was 1990. Back when they had Michael Westbrook, Cordell Stewart, and them. But yeah, they're back at the forefront. And now, obviously they have to continue that work. They got to go out there and they got to get the recruits. And Deion's got to coach. But they took that first step. They improved 4 times as many wins as last year, is how I would say it all the time.
Absolutely.
I would never say 4 wins. But yeah, you got a lot of attention. You had a lot of hype around the program. And if it's true that Shedeur Sanders is going to go back, then you should have an even better season next year.
Absolutely. And I think he's going to get he may not get the Alabama, Georgia type recruiting class, but he's going to get some quality players that are going to want to play there. He's going to, and more so, he's going to get some transfers.
Yeah.
That's the thing to look at more so than the recruits. There's some guys out there that can play now that are on some of these powerhouses saying, hey, I don't want to sit behind anybody, right? He needs to start with the old linemen that are out there. Find the old linemen, and I don't think he's gonna have a problem with that either. But get some transfers that can really upgrade immediately, that don't need time to develop. Get some guys that are ready to go now. He's gonna hit that transfer portal. That's going to be fun to watch, and that's going to be a spectacle too. I think that whole recruiting season, finding transfers, National Signing Day, I could see him doing even a little show on that. Yeah.
But that is all the time we have for the show tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Yes.
And again, wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and we'll see you. Well, we won't see you. Jose will see you next week.
Yes. I'll be hosting, maybe solo or maybe with a co-host. We'll see who stops by. I don't know. All right. But the show will go on. B will be in Japan. All right. So safe travels, B.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.